Good morning, friends. Welcome to the kitchen. Come on in, grab yourself a cup of coffee and hang out with me a few minutes. Look, there ain't no telling what's going to happen here. I got kids sleeping upstairs. My husband's out running around. But I have a few minutes and I miss you guys. So I thought we'd hop on, share a coffee. I'm getting some cookies in the oven. You want to hang out a little bit? I hope so. Hope you'll want to hang out just for a few minutes and we'll just see how it goes. You know, it's the holidays. You take your minutes when you can get them, right? That's how I feel about it. Hi, Terry. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Come on in. My coffee's still actually warm, so that tells you something. It tells you I just refilled it. Hey, Debbie Fritz. How's your day going, sweetie? Hello, Judy. Hey. Hey, Christina. How are you, my dear? How are you? Well, thank you, Debbie. That is so sweet of you to sprinkle. Good morning, Diane. Oh, I love your emojis. It is time, Margaret. It is Merry Christmas to you, too. Tomorrow is actually our we have two big family get-togethers, I told you, but one of them is tomorrow. And so I'm trying to get everything wrapped up. We just have everybody here, which is a big group. You know, we're a big family. And it's just kind of a hangout, snacky day. Hey, Ann, the kids all exchange their gifts to one another. They do a name draw. We go ahead and gift our adult kids who won't be here on Christmas morning. Hey, Cheryl in California. It's early for you, girl. And but it's just snack food. I don't cook a big dinner for that. It's sandwich trays. I'm doing okay. How are you? Good morning. And we have fruit trays and we have veggie trays and we have junk. That's what we have. You was watching it? Oh, I have had more fun with the gift exchange. And I don't know if you guys have been watching. I assume most of you guys are watching them, but I was really struck today. You know, the holidays can be fabulous or they can be hard. And sometimes we feel like we see something like me and Michelle doing our gifts every day. And you're like, man, I wish I had somebody giving me a gift. Good morning. Oh, early enough. Well, good, Cheryl. We have a brisket in the fridge. Yeah, we're going to do brisket and ham. Sorry, I'm just talking. We love the grazing too, Debbie. And they're not stuff I just make all the time anyway. Exactly. We started doing finger foods at Christmas. Sometimes we would have pizza delivered when the kids were a little younger because we were worn out by the afternoon. Who wants to get up early Christmas morning and do all that and then cook all day? Not me. All right. I'm going to work a little bit. So I have some sugar cookies. I don't really do cut out sugar cookies as a rule. Hey, Mary. But I love them. I love them. Now, my daughter-in-law next door, Lauren, she actually has a cookie decorating business. So I don't have to make the sugar cookies. This girl rocks it. But I wanted to make some. My daughter, Jenna, especially, she loves those Loft House cookies. You know the ones, the super soft ones with way too much frosting for my taste on them. So this is a recipe, and it's called a cream cheese sugar cookie. All right. So this is my tip for making sugar cookies. If you're going to cut them out with cookie cutters, you know when you make a sugar cookie dough, you got to chill it, right? Well, Mama P's not strong enough in the arms to roll out that cold, hard dough. I don't know if you are, but I'm not. It hurts. So when I make my dough and it's nice and soft, I roll it into sheets and I put it between parchment papers and then I refrigerate it. Okay? That way I don't have to do that rolling out on the super cold, hard dough. And my dough stays nice and cold to get it onto the baking sheet, which is important. So I'll put this recipe up on the page a little bit later, but I mixed these up last night. And you guys will not believe it when I tell you, I own 2 cookie cutters. 2. I think this is all. I have some mini size cookie cutters that I use for crafting, but I didn't want to clean them. You know, just be... So I have a little gingerbread and I have a little star. So that's the cookies we're having. Hey, I'm glad you guys like that. I started doing it several years ago when I really just could not roll that dough. And I was sad that shaped cookies couldn't be on my repertoire, you know, because I would get that cold, hard wrapped dough ball out of my fridge and I couldn't do anything with it, you know, I just couldn't. So the first 1 or 2 always want to stick to my cutter, and that's okay. I'm just gently pushing it back out. Once they get a little bit of flour caked on them, they'll come out easier. And I could flour it. Oh, good, that one's hot. But because my dough is nice and cold, look how crisp that comes out. Let me grab my flour container real quick. You can tell I've been baking. My flour container is a mess. Everything's a mess. You can see one little edge of my kitchen counter this morning because it's all that's presentable. I have two kinds of dough today. I made this, and I also fit my cookie cutters strategically to get as many cookies out as I can so I don't have to re-roll that hard dough. Okay, so I just really, if you have 3 or 4 cutters, it works better because then you have more options for getting into all those little groups. Good morning. We are cutting out some cream cheese sugar cookies. So we're just going to line them up. The recipe says to give them quite a bit of room, like 3 inches on the cookie sheet, which I thought was a weird baking direction. Good morning, Donna, because they're not supposed to spread, right? I mean, that's part of the whole thing with the cut sugar cookies. They don't spread much. But I don't know. We'll do it if that's what they say. This dough can be refrigerated. It can be made in advance and then refrigerated up to 2 days before you use it from this. So I cut my dough ball in half, rolled it out on floured parchment paper, and then put another parchment layer on top. So I had a parchment with a dough and a parchment with a dough. And when they were done, I stacked them. I put them in this cookie sheet and wrapped the cookie sheet with plastic wrap. You need to get it as airtight as you can. And then this whole pan just slid into my refrigerator, just barely, because my fridge is overflowing. And if you're having family over in the next few days, I bet yours is too. I bet yours is too. Oh, Lisa, I love cookies too. So I'm just wiggling and jiggling my cutter, and I'm just trying to get it just barely in the cookie dough. So I have the fewest scraps possible. And I'm not a famous cookie decorator. I know how, but I don't love it like some people do. And I also really, really love buttercream frosting. So I actually have some leftover buttercream from the cake decorating segment I did a couple of weeks ago. And I'm just going to use it in small amounts. Sherry, they're all close. My college boy is home and sleeping upstairs. Oh, Jane, good morning. Thank you so much for sending me stars. He's sleeping upstairs. My high school daughter that's away at school, she's home and currently sleeping upstairs as well. My youngest daughter is still got a half a day of school today. So she is off to school, although she's not doing any schoolwork. I got them for a half a day staying in their advisory room, they call it, which is just their little home room. But anyway, she doesn't miss school. Hey, Angie, good morning. My friend, I was thinking about you this morning. Sure been on my mind. Okay, now I'm not going to worry about placement of these cookies. I'm just going to get them all cut while they're nice and cold. And then I'm going to have to spread them out over 2 sheets. But that's okay. I've got 2 sheets prepared with the parchment paper. Thank you, Stephanie. So we're just cutting cookies. Cut cookies. I'm pushing them. They're still sticking to my cutter. Your grandson has been off school a week. My daughter finished, my husband and my daughter, the district they work for, finished up Wednesday at noon. But the district we live in here, they went till today at noon. But they start back at different times too, so it's all right. It'll be all right. When do they go back, Christina? I wonder. We go back on, respectively, the 4th and the 6th. Okay, so this is the scrap that I have, and now it's just gotten soft enough because it was so cold when we started that we can mash it back into a ball, but it's not such a hard ball that I can't re-roll it. Okay. When you're a person who has a body that doesn't always do everything you like, you got to learn to adapt, right? You got to. So I'm just pushing it back into a ball. You don't want to work it any more than you have to, but you also don't want it to crack all over the place. So once it looks like a nice ball of Play-Doh, I'm just going to roll it out. I don't know what that is. Right back on my parchment paper. Ooh, still got, these are going to be flaky layered cookies. January 2nd. Yeah, we go back the 4th and the 6th. So it's the same number of days off, just different ones. Okay. The recipe says to roll them about 1/4 of an inch thick, so I work on about 1/4 of an inch thick. They make rolling pins. I actually have one over there in the cabinet that has the little rubber guides you put on, and then they're perfect, but you know, I don't live in the land of perfect, so I'm okay with that. And since I'm doing stars and gingerbread, guys, I'm just gonna try to get this one whole sheet gingerbread and then the other whole sheet stars. And I should have, you know, kind of a close number. There's another fleck in that one, probably off my baking sheet. Okay. The recipe says to bake them 12 or 13 minutes, but only until they're just super lightly brown. Like a sugar cookie, you don't really want much color on it at all. And then it says, I didn't do a very good job getting that even, so I'm going to come here in the thicker part and then put it together again. And then let them cool on the pan about 5 minutes. That tells me these are going to be crazy soft when they come out of the oven, which is all right. The more often you have to roll your dough, oh, thank you, Carrie, the less you want to work with it. Because these, every time we roll it, they're getting a little bit tougher. So I'm just pressing my dough together enough to get another cookie cut at this point. And my dough is getting warmer, and you can see it's kind of wanting to stick more to my cutter. Let me get it down here in the flour. Let's see if we can get one more. Well, I think we can get one more. We could get 2 if I was really careful, but I'm probably not all that careful. Okay. Let's see. Is that big enough? I don't think. Huh? Oh, it is. It's going to have one gimpy foot, just like me, and that's okay. Hey, Rose, good morning. Okay. So we have this much dough, and I'm going to set it aside. I get to eat it. Okay, Lisa, I think that sounds perfectly fair. All right. So this little bit of dough, I'm going to set aside, and then when I re-roll my second set and it's getting soft, I can pop this into it, and then I can eat what's left over of both. Okay. So let me get reorganized here. Let's see. Thinking usually I can get, if I space my cookies like this, I may be pushing it. I may wind up with one giant gingerbread man. What do you guys think the chances are of that? I can usually, whatever kind of cookie I make, I can get 8 good-sized cookies on my sheets if I space them right. So let's see. We'll do 6 on one and 8 on another and hope for the best. Okay? Okay, it says 12 minutes. I'm going to put them in here. Oop, I got to move an oven rack. I'm reading, sorry, Christina. You've never made sugar cookies. I usually don't do cutout sugar cookies. Honestly, I don't. But in the holidays, I just kind of want them. Okay? So I'm going to set, the timer said 12 minutes, but I have my racks pretty close in the oven. So I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. And at 5 minutes, I'm going to rotate those cookie sheets so that one's on the top, and then we'll see. We'll see how we get. So here's my second chilled dough. You put a little bit of flour on the dough when you put the parchment on, just to guarantee you don't stick. Okay, and then let's just see what we can do here. And we'll do a thing of stars and see what happens, right? All we know. That's all we can do. So what's on you guys' calendar for today? Where are you guys at? in your holiday stuff. Ooh, this one I can't get my chubby fingers in there. There we go. Ooh, gotta really flour that one. Let me stick it down in here and see if that helps. What are you doing? I've got 2 more packages to wrap. I had forgotten that we always do fun stockings. That's always been a tradition in our family. I always loved it. And so I started doing it way back before we had kids. Chutney. Oh, I love chutney, Lisa. And Chex Mix. I made Chex Mix before. Honestly, we're about out, but I don't think I'm making any more today. I don't think I'm going to get there. So I started doing fun stockings back when I first met my husband's family. He had a bunch of brothers. And so I started making these silly, fun Christmas stockings. Working a full day today. Then you get 3. With fun toys in it, bouncy balls. I always got some kind of like a dart gun. You got 3 packages to wrap. That sounds pretty close. You know, their favorite silly candies. I would get the crazy, super sour, miserable candies. And they were all adults when we met them. But they were like kids. Yeah, she's here, Becky. So that has continued on with my kids. So I got a few stocking things and started their stockings. And, oh, I'm so glad you're liking that. I sure have enjoyed it. And so I put a few things in there and then it wasn't really full. And thank you, Angie. Their stockings weren't. So I've got some more stocking things that I need to get put together because I had kind of forgotten that tomorrow they'll do stockings because they're all here. And, you know, it's no fun to get a new Nerf gun if you can't shoot your siblings with it, right? And they get in trouble for shooting the parents. So I don't want them to open them when it's just me. So I have that to do. Did you ever make puppy chow? Yes. And I actually bought, you guys, look at this mess over here. I showed you the other day. It's getting worse. All that ingredient over there. I bought some more Chex to make puppy chow with, but I don't know if I'm going to get there either. Ooh, cheesecake. Do you make a real cheesecake? Like, I tried real cheesecakes and I love them, but I haven't had the very best luck. They're very technical. Okay, these are really sticking and they're starting to get on my nerves. This one kind of looks more like a starfish than a Christmas star. All right, let's try flouring it again. Let's see if we can get it better. I also think, I don't know if you guys can see down here, my dough is kind of sticking here. Yeah, they would have great fun doing it, but we try to keep the old folks safe, right? My kitchen. Yeah, I could clean my kitchen or I could use it. At this point of the year, I can't do both. So now I use it. Later, I'll clean it. It'll be all right. Hey, Penny, good morning. We're cutting out some cream cheese sugar cookies. Got our first round in the oven. And then we're going to scoop up my signature cookie. I don't think I finished telling you. Oh, the best cheesecake. My signature cookie is called a Slinger. And I did them on here way back, but I'll post the recipe for you again. I actually created the cookie, my own creation, when I had my catering business, which was called the Grocery Slinger, because somebody would say, what you been doing all day? And I'd say, I just been slinging groceries all day long when I was catering. And so the business name was born. Yes, if you have a great recipe, I would love to have it. And so I have those mixed up over here, but it's ooh, I've never made gumdrops cookies, Sherry. Man, I wish I could shake these out of here. Shoot, I keep losing my train of thought. It's just a scoop cookie dough. So it is just in a bowl over there and it's been in the fridge all night. So talk about hard to deal with. It needs to warm up a little bit. And then here's our 5-minute timer. Grab one of my poor old hot pads here. Better have 2. And I'm just going to trade my pans around. Okay. Just rotating them, and then I'm going to set a 7-minute timer. You're not much of a baker. Nobody's ever going to pay me to bake. Although that's funny, they did pay me to bake for a long time because I had a bakery business, but it was mainly cupcakes, which I found incredibly easy. Okay, this dough, I'm just going to tell you, I didn't roll it out very even. So let's gather this one up and roll it out again. And I'm going to grab the other piece of parchment because this sticky dough that's on it is not helping us out any. But this one, I have between it. So now I'm just going to open my dough up kind of in the middle and stick this other piece, or my other roller in there. Oh, the butternut, really? Huh. Okay, so I'm making a nice little dough ball here. The less we handle it, the better. Ooh, you can say you're having some eggnog in your coffee if you want. We don't judge here. I don't like eggnog though, so you're okay. I'm not coming over to steal your coffee. I have a house divided on eggnog. The girls don't like it and the guys do. So I don't make it. Sometimes my husband will buy it, like at the store, prepared. And sometimes my adult son next door will actually make it. But for me, I could just do without. It is one of those things people kind of have an opinion about eggnog. It's a special taste. You have more eggnog than coffee? That's okay, we won't tell. We won't tell. And now my cookie sheet's pretty full, so I'm just gonna get these rolled while my dough is as firm as it can be and cut, and I'll just set them right here off to the side. Now, as long as they're going to come out of the oven kind of the way they go in. So this one is like, once you re-roll them, they kind of get like biscuits. They get layers. And this one, you can see the layers are coming apart. As long as I'm careful and I keep them lined up, it is different. That homemade is for sure. My husband never learned how to make it, and he likes it. And I never liked it well enough to learn how to make it. And since I'm going to use my buttercream frosting on these, I'm going to use a real small star tip and just decorate them. I get a lot of forgiveness. The tops of these cookies do not have to be flawless. And there. I was just reading that thinking in a few days I may need a little Bailey's in my coffee. I don't drink at all, but I may be tempted. I may be tempted. You've never made eggnog, just buy it, yeah. Okay, they're really sticky. Let's get one more here, and then I'm going to switch back to my little guy or girl character here because it's easier to get them out of the cutter. And the softer my dough gets, the more it wants to stick to the cutter. So there we go. There we go. Okay, and let's get just a couple more little gingerbread peoples, and we should be good. Yeah, Sherry, we do host the family. I was just talking actually to Michelle about it this morning. It's so funny. You guys well know I live in a tiny house, right? 700 square feet downstairs is where I live. There's 700 square foot upstairs, but I don't live upstairs because I don't do steps. And we have 6 children, the grandbaby, and 2 of our children are married. So we have 8 children that come, plus the baby. And my son lives next door. We live in his yard. And they have a beautiful large house, but the kids come here to my tiny house. And so it's loud and it's rowdy and I love it, but I kind of get, do you guys get, it gets a little much sometimes. So many people on top of each other. My former house, the big house we called it, had a 900 square foot ballroom. The people who bought the house were ballroom dancers, and they built a 900 square foot sunroom on the back of the house so that they could ballroom dance. I don't ballroom dance. It even had a mirror ball in the ceiling. But I do have, you know, a big family. And so we had that one big room out there, and we would put the tree out there. We actually had a giant conference table from a business, you know, that was closing down. It would seat, I don't know, 20 for dinner out there. And so, but that one room was more space than I have in the whole house now. And I love it. I love it. I love it. But sometimes I have to go sit on the porch for just a minute. I raise some loud people. I was just thinking today, how can I rearrange the furniture here in our little space to get it best for tomorrow? I think I have a plan, but it's going to be a lot of work. I know. I can't repeat that out loud, but I agree. Glad when it comes and kind of glad when it goes sometimes. Okay, let's get this one. And now we've got everything cut. And this is our treat. I'm just going to make a little round cookie out of it. And then I may wind up eating the cookie dough. Let's not fib, but we'll just make a little bit, turn it into Santa's head there if I'm a little bit careful. Okay, so we have less than a minute on our timer, and then we can switch out our sheets. I buy all my cookie sheets, baking sheets at Sam's. They all look this bad. I never use them without a sheet on them, so I don't have to worry about it. But yes, they all look just that bad. Okay, let's see. I hear feet moving upstairs, guys. Yep, and coming down the stairs. Let's get our little guys in there. And let's see. I think the other one's about right, so we're going to try to squeeze these on here and get them all in 4 sheets. We shall see. We do a little bit of repair work if we need to. Put that one in there. They did not spread too much, I can see from the first round. So I feel a little bit better that we can get a few more on there. Okay, let's see what we got. The timer says it's time. And that was 12 minutes. I don't know if I can get you close enough. Can you see right here on the very edge of this one, you can barely see brown. So it's time for them to come out. This one probably has a little extra brown on the edges of it. So I probably should try to get them off the sheets, which you can do. You can actually pick up the whole sheet of parchment paper and put it on the cooling rack. So this time I'm going to do 5 minutes and 6 minutes and see what we got. All right. So before you can do anything with a cooked sugar cookie, it has to completely cool. You know that, right? And these are supposed to be crazy soft, but they're a little browner than I wish. So I'm thinking maybe I can sneak them off. Oh yeah. So see if I can burn my hand off here. That's how they look, which is probably a little browner than you would want them. But they'll hold together while we work on them, right? That's what we're going to say. Since I don't want them to get any browner at all, though, I'm going to go ahead and pull them off the cookie sheet and put them on my cooling rack. There goes my alarm. If my daughter had her late start, our school starts late every Friday, she would just now be leaving. These are a little bit lighter. This is better. This is kind of the color you want for a sugar cookie. Most of the real cookie decorators I know, they would call that overdone. Like they don't want any color at all. Like that. Like that. I am so excited for Adeline's first Christmas. I wonder how she will feel about it. If she will feel, you know, super overwhelmed, or I think she may tear up some paper. I think. And she does love a toy. So being her Grammy, I didn't feel obligated to buy her practical gifts. So I bought her a few toys. If the kids don't want them at their house, they can leave them here. Okay. So this is what they look like front and back. And they're just going to sit here and cool. All right. While they're cooling, let's check out the other dough. My guess is it's too hard, but we'll try. I use cookie scoops for all of my cookies. Okay, so I use cookie scoops whenever I'm making cookies. And it doesn't matter which size scoop, because the only difference is what size is your cookie going to be. So if I want big cookies, I use the big scoop. If I want little cookies, because I'm going to an event and people are grazing and maybe don't want a huge one, that's right, Sherry. I use this one, and then this is just the regular medium scoop that I use. These make cookie baking so much easier with these kind of cookies because you get a consistent size. Okay, and this is my cookie dough. This is the Slinger cookie dough. This is what it looks like. I don't eat a lot of sweets. I eat more than I should, but I don't eat a lot of sweets. And so when I came up with my cookie recipe, I made a cookie that had every cookie ingredient I loved in them. So these are chocolate chip, pecan, oatmeal, peanut butter cookies. All right, and I have shared the recipe before, and I will put it back up again. And what I do with these is, whether it's right after I've mixed it or after it's been in the fridge for a while, I just go ahead and scoop them out. If they're kind of rough, it doesn't matter. These are not, these are a rough cookie. This is how they roll. And I just take a cooking sheet. That one may be too hot. Let me grab another. They all look equally bad. It doesn't matter. And I just go ahead and roll up all the balls, all the dough balls, and put them on my pan. And that way I don't have this part to do once they start going in and out of the oven. These bake at 350 for about 10 minutes, and then cooled onto a rack and stored. You can almost eat these for breakfast. They got everything in them, right? That's what we'll call them. Just have them for breakfast. They got your oatmeal, they got your nuts, they got your peanut butter, you know. Anything, it's all going to get eat, right, around here. And then if, like, when you have that many ingredients in a cookie dough, you're going to have a lot of cookie dough. There's really no way around it. Once I ball these up and they're on my cookie sheet, I could set this entire cookie sheet in my freezer or whatever. That's right, oatmeal covers them for breakfast. You could put some peanut butter and nuts in your oatmeal any given day, and you're about here. Once they were frozen, right, I could throw my whole pan of dough balls into my freezer and freeze them. Then once they're frozen hard, you can put them in Ziploc bags in your little pre-scooped cookies, and you can pull them out. Oh, there's my timer. Let me flip. Okay, you guys, I always wind up with 8 pot holders out because every time I touch one, I get mine. So switch. Make sure my paper keeps them neat. And then go again. So once you get these and you've got them on your sheet, or you can put them in whatever you want to, just in a single layer, and let them freeze, then you can take those little frozen cookie balls. And hi, Maureen. A lot of times I divide them up. Like I put a dozen little dough balls in a quart-size freezer bag and throw them in my freezer. And then when you want cookies, you can just take these little frozen balls out of your freezer straight to the oven, and you're good to go. Hey, Andrea, how's your morning? Hey, Christy, good morning. We've got our first round of cream cheese sugar cookies cooling. Our second round is in the oven, and we're scooping up what I call Slingers. They were my catering signature cookie, and that's what we got. So I am going to, I hear a lot of movement upstairs. It's about time for me to switch gears and get back to the mom duty. That one's a little small. Grab some more and smush it together. You can do this with your fingers. You can do it with a scoop. I started doing the scoop for sure when I catered, because when you're selling cookies by the dozen, people need to know what they're getting. So, you know, and that's how I sold them. So much a dozen. You tell me how many dozen you want. And the cookie scoop is going to give you a really consistent size cookie. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. I will post some pictures. I'll post the recipes for you, both of them, on the page here in a little while when I get some decorating done. And I will see you soon. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time this morning. And let me just encourage you that if you're feeling a little down and lonely today, and that this Christmas season is a little bit rough, find somebody that you can love on today. I don't mean that to sound mean at all. That's an encouragement to you, that if you wish somebody was blessing you, take that as a sign and be a blessing wherever you can. And that helps us. It helps us. The surefire cure for depression is to do something extravagant and unexpected for someone else. And I only know that through very hard learned lessons in my own life. Okay, guys, have a great one. I'm going to get my kitchen work done. I'll see you guys soon.